trying my best. I was trying to do all this. I have to do it from my phone.
I know because everyone requests me, but then at the bottom it has like go live with, and then I guess you can click it, but it wasn't letting me click it at first.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Oh, yay. Okay, yes. So thank you for being my first official guest. So based on the time limit, guys, this is going to be like a quick, maybe like 15, 20 minutes, not too short. But before we begin, do you mind taking a few deep breaths with me?
Love that.
Okay, let's breathe in and out and in and out. Let's do one more. In and out. I find that, like, I have to remind myself. That's why I love my Apple Watch, because it be telling you, like, don't forget to breathe. I'm like, yes, it's really, really imperative. So first, tell everyone a little bit about you and your journey into education.
Awesome. Hi, my name is Alexis. I have been teaching officially on my own for, this will be year 3. Getting grown in here. I was a biology major at the University of Irvine when I first began, and 2 years in, I took an amazing course on education by Tesha Gupta Irving. And the whole course was about whether, if you worked hard, could you be anything that you want? And she hit the hammer on the nail, or however you say that saying, with the fact of, that's not necessarily true when it comes down to American education, that there is systemic racism that keeps Black and brown people behind. There is immigration things that keep Black and brown people behind. There's all of these pieces that kind of stop Black and brown people, POC people, or even poor people, because that was a discussion too. It's less nowadays about race and also more about a financial gap that is there to hold people back, and particularly our students, and how that branches into sending and funneling poor and POC people into prisons or into low income jobs, and etc. And I fell in love with the course. And after that, I just changed my major, told my parents I wasn't going to be a doctor anymore. I'm going to go be a teacher. Everyone was depressed. Yeah, I just fell in love. I just kept getting into the education world. And the more I was in it, the more I found so much fulfillment working with students. And I found purpose. I didn't find the money. But I did find it. So I just kept running with that. And here I am, some odd years later, and I have my master's, and I've been teaching for quite a few years now, and it feels good.
Yes. Me and Alexis went to grad school together. I remember, like, I will never forget this. Like, I walking into training, and I seen her hair, and that was the first thing I seen. I seen her hair, and I was like, oh, she looks like me. And I was like, oh, we're going to be friends, because it wasn't a lot of Black people in that training. So as soon as I seen her, I was like, oh, yes. We here, sis.
Yeah. They let us up and go find somebody to connect with. Me and Tashi were like, boom.
Boom. Like, that was it. Like, I was like, she looked like me. Come on, come here. Okay, so thank you for telling us a little bit about yourself. So there's, like, many different forms of self-care. Like, what does self-care mean to you?
Self-care is whatever is going to bring me back to bring me back to being relaxed. So that can look in so many different forms for me in my day and with weeks. As long as it brings me back, most pointedly to being relaxed. I feel the most at peace. I'm capable of honing in and having joy and happiness when I'm grounded within my soul, within myself, and within my spirit. So that is what self-care does and is for me at the moment, to be grounded.
Yes, I feel like, like anything that, like, centers my focus and, like, I'm able to, like, calm down, I'm able to, like, think clearly, like, that's just it. It was like, there's no, like, one way of doing it, but I know, like, certain things just really help me. Like, I know, like, getting outside, being in nature truly, truly helps. Yeah. And as far as, like, being an educator by trade, do you implement self-care routines into your classroom? And, like, what does that look like?
Yes, and it's a must, and I would encourage so many teachers to do it. And there's so many easy ways. One of the main ways I do it is I allow my students to have a brain break. So we're sitting in the room for 90 minutes straight, and that is a long time to be sitting, focused, paying attention. It's absolutely impossible and ridiculous. Education even requires that of us. So my kids get excited because I always do a brain break, and it's super easy. I will have like a little tub, and there will be notes in there of different games we'll play or activities. and I'll let a child choose it. They're normally only about 5 minutes long. Sometimes it's us watching a funny video. Sometimes it's us playing four corners. They love playing four corners. There's a numbers game I play where you pull a number out of a cup, and if the number's two, you got to make a group of two, and if it doesn't make a group of two, they're out. And these games only last about 5 minutes, but that's a portion of
really important.
Yeah, because they needed that. Sometimes the brain break is just simply being able to be on the phone, because that's not something you're allowed to do in my classroom. So it's what they need to feel grounded or to get a moment to themselves. Sometimes also I will do after lunch, I turn off the lights when they come in. The lights are nice and dim and low. I'll have quiet music playing, nice and kind of uplifting and things like that. And I'll give them 5 minutes on the phone, or 5 minutes to put their head down, or 5 minutes, just do what they need to do. And then I think another thing that we don't think about is I oftentimes, especially before high anxiety items, I will say something to support the students. So before every test, I have the same mantra. I go over that. By the end of the year, they love, and they have to have it in there. I always tell them, hey, you've prepared well, you will do well. Absolutely no test in the world that determines how intelligent you are. And I tell that to them before they take any quiz, any test in my classroom, and allow them to just meditate on that for a moment before they begin.
I like that. Can you say that again?
Yes, I always tell them that you have prepared well, you will do well, you've done well, and that there's no test in the world that determines your intelligence.
Yes, I like that. Okay, so outside of your profession, what do you do to decompress?
Oh, so many things. First off, I journal every day. That is a must for me. It's how I kind of just lay down whatever is on my spirit that's kind of keeping me at that grounded and peace state that I need to be in. So I journal all the time. I will make relaxing times and spaces. So I will make an event of relaxing, if that makes sense. So like something that's really relaxing for me is to have, of course, a glass of wine at night.
Yeah.
That I'm like really excited about, and watch my TV shows that I gotta watch. And
I have another question. Don't tell me about your shows yet. I have a question about shows.
Okay. I make that my relaxation time.
Yes.
Make that an event in my day where I put my phone aside and I'm like, it's just calm. And then another big thing that I do that I absolutely love is Bubble Bath Sunday. I gotta have a Bubble Bath Sunday, and I make that a ritual and routine.
Yes.
I'm burning incense, bubble bath going. I got my little bath bombs from Lush. I will play my music. My glass of wine will be there, and I will spend time soaking, meditating, manifesting, whatever I need. I have a board where I sit and I pray, and I put my prayers up on the board. I put my manifestations up on the board, and I will go there and do yoga and meditate before I go to bed every night. I don't even have a TV in my bedroom, because that is what I do at night every day for my own personal self-care and routines. I do yoga, I meditate, I do my prayers, and I take my tail to bed on time.
I love that. So, of course, like sometimes self-care is watching TV, and I really don't watch that much TV, but like lately I've been like forcing myself to like, no, sit down and watch TV, because I notice when I am watching TV, I'm literally not worried about anything, and I'm like zoomed in. And like when the girl did my hair, we were watching How to Get Away with Murder, and I'm like, I haven't seen this in years. So now I'm like going back, I'm on like season 2. So I literally sit down every night and watch like an episode of it, and then I like fall asleep. So like, what shows are you currently watching?
Right now, I'm back and I'm starting to binge Dexter, because I stopped watching that because it got too creepy at first. Queen Sugar, I was just binging Queen Sugar. That's amazing if you haven't. I binge all types of things because, like you said, it is a piece of like self-care for you, because you walk away from your troubles. And yeah. I'm feel like, no, she didn't. Don't do it. I'm not in mine.
Yeah, I'm like literally not worried about anything. So I just find it so relaxing. And I never really used to watch TV like that, but now I'm like, no, 40 minutes a night at least or something, like just to watch TV and zone out. And so, of course, like I find it really peaceful to like listen to music. So like before you got on, we were playing Corinne Bailey Rae, and I was listening to her when I was on my walk today. So like, what type of music do you currently listen to?
Obviously, The Black is King is on my playlist right
now. Of course. Alexis is a Beyonce fan, y'all.
You guys should be very thankful. She's given us a lot of black, right? Love it. Janae Aiko's latest album is on repeat at night for me. Also, her song Frequency. If you have not listened to it, it's basically like something you could meditate to. Absolutely beautiful. So those are the things I'm like playing on repeat right now. My Black is King gives me my black, I'm beautiful, things are great. We're doing great things in the world. And my Janae Aiko is like, let's calm down and deal with our emotions.
Yes, yes. That's what I was just
Our
telling
all of
you here.
mm-hmm.
I love like Janae Aiko. Like I listen to like calming music, especially because I take a lot of walks lately because we haven't been doing anything. So like Janae Aiko, Corinne Bailey Ray, Lauryn Hill, like neo soul music. But I do like my funk music too. Like I love the baby. So, but but when I'm trying to relax, yes, like Janae is like, yeah,
Mm-hmm. And loving Ari Lennox right now. There's quite a few artists.
Yes.
Yes.
And so beyond like TV and electronics, like is reading a stress reliever for you? And like, what's the last book you read, or what's the book that you're currently reading?
I love reading. Reading is definitely, that's another reason why I don't have a TV in my room. It's a spot where I just get to go and do that. Right now I'm reading Atomic Habits. I like to have basically like sections of reading. So I'll have one kind of like work reading and I'll have a pleasure reading. So right now I'm doing Atomic Habits to learn about implementing better habits, how to keep habits, how to create habits.
Write that down.
He does it by storytelling. You're one of those people, it's great. And then I'm a little embarrassed to say this, but I got into the Zane books. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them.
Girl, when we was in like middle school, we used to be reading them books, so we had no business reading those books.
Okay. Y'all was too grown for me because I'm just now getting started. So that's actually been my pleasure read because I kind of wanted something that was just a little, just a little different.
Raunchy.
But something I just finished reading was the Broken Earth series by N.K. Jemisin. If you've not read that, it's a Black woman. She is amazing, phenomenal. There's 3 books in it. It will blow your mind. And Perfect Peace.
All of those things.
Big one for me that I use to decompress. It's so important. It's a need. It's like TV. It takes you out of it, but it's cool while you do it. So it's really nice. I even joined a book club in order to do more reading. So I would encourage people to do that. It makes you feel a little bit more accountable is all.
Yeah. I've been listening to Audible, which is funny because I never really used to like audiobooks, but like I do my motivational videos and I'm just like, oh, it's so easy for me to just put a Audible on, like as I'm like cleaning or doing whatever. Because I have like this physical book that I bought this year and I haven't even read it, but I've read like 6 Audible books. So I'm like, Audible, I guess, is my thing for now. But I do love hardcover books. And I'm currently listening to How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram Kendi. And also I'm listening to Les Brown because, I love my motivation. So next, we're going to circle back into the classroom for this one. So for a first-year teacher who may be having a difficult time with balancing and is like getting frustrated, like what kind of advice around self-care would you give to them?
Start with a routine. I think teaching takes up, it'll take your whole life if you allow it to. And especially as a first-year teacher, you're bright-eyed, you're excited, and you take on everything. And I highly, highly suggest set a routine for your self-care because self-care needs to be consistently done. And and the only way you're able to do that is by having it in a routine. And if you don't have a routine in your day, you're not implementing the self-care that you need. So for any new teacher, I would always recommend set a routine once you have your foot in the door, and you've established yourself, setting a routine, and then picking something that is always one thing you can always go back to. So I noticed in teaching, I was always so busy. You start coaching, you're doing office hours. I mean, by the end of it, sometimes you spent 12-hour days at work. And it's easy to do. And I always have one thing that I'm able to return to that gets me back to remind myself, hey, you need to be doing something. Because you'll forget. You'll be so busy, you'll just forget.
No, for real.
And my one thing is journaling. If I can find a way to journal, I will find my way back to my self-care routines. Even if I fall off, I know that, I need a journal. And once I start journaling, I'll remind myself, this is a part of your self-care routine, Alexis. You need to get back into this. Don't you feel your body is stressed? Don't you feel tense? Don't you feel? And I'll be like, yeah, I do. Okay, I need to stretch tonight. I need to go back to doing my yoga tonight. I need to go back to doing my prayer. And then all of a sudden, I'm back to my nighttime routine. Where I'm doing my yoga, my meditation, my prayer, and I'm going to bed at a decent time. And I'm taking care of me.
Yes.
So I would highly suggest those 2 things for teachers. And they're easy things. 1, have your routine, and 2, have your one thing that brings you back to your routine, because you're going to lose it. You're going to lose it. You get stuck in your kids and you lose it.
Especially with the summer, I'm like, I need to get myself together because school here doesn't go back until September. So I'm like, I'm still kind of like up all night, sleeping during the day. And I'm like, you know what, let me get myself together now. So it's like a good like transition. And because like I haven't been doing those routines, like journaling every night and like doing gratitude, I wasn't doing that. So of course, like a part of me was like getting hesitant and like very worrisome. And you know, like I always text you about my thoughts and I'm thinking so much. But like journaling allows me to just like do a mental dump. Like you just do, like one lady asked me on my personal page, like, how do you journal? And I'm like, well, you have to just start small. Like maybe start by like writing 1 or 2 things that you're grateful for, or just doing a mind dump. Like I allow myself like a 5 minutes to just write whatever is on my mind. And then I will divide my journal into sections based on like my thoughts, my goals, and things of that nature. Like there's no one way to do it, but like starting small and writing like whatever is on your mind, or also implementing gratitude, because often like, especially as millennials, there's so much pressure on us and like we are looking towards the future, which is great, but it's like you often neglect the present and the moment that you're in now and all that you have to be grateful for.
Yeah, no, I agree with you with all your sentiments. I think so many people think they got to write, you know, a whole page in their journal. And it's like, some days I write a sentence.
Yes.
That sentence. It was something I needed to lay down, and that's it. There.
So speaking of like giving advice to others, and do you have a mantra that you repeat to yourself? Because I know you gave us the mantra for your students, and then we just asked for advice for first year teacher. Do you have a mantra that you repeat to yourself?
I don't have one that I repeat to myself. Actually, that's not true. If anyone is interested, there is a podcast called The Nude. And she does an amazing job. After she has a discussion with you, she'll have you meditate. And she walks you through the meditation. And this was a few months back. I did one with her, listen to the podcast. And I came out with something I've kind of been telling myself recently. And that is, it all works out in the end. And so lately I've just been, when I'm feeling the pressure, I'm feeling the intenseness, I'm feeling the worry and the just the stress of everything. Like, can I do this right? Like, am I doing this right with my students? You know, we're walking into teaching virtually. We were never prepared nor taught to teach virtually. Am I going to connect with my students in a good way? How am I going to assist them when I can't see nothing? You know, like this is going to be quite a stressful and overwhelming transition. And I just keep reminding myself, it all works out in the end.
I love that. And so we kind of talked on like, you know, mantras being like that reassurance. And you talked about having like things that you go to. So like additionally, like what are those things that you have in your self-care kit? Like your go-to, you know, like your self-care kit is your go-to anxiety toolbox. Like things that can be physical, mental, like things that help you when you just need it, or just for daily activities.
I have my journal. That's number one. I then have, after that, I have candles that I've put small prayers on, and they by my, so sometimes I just light those to say the prayer that's on the candle because I needed that day. I make sure to get up every morning and tell myself something good in the mirror. You got to feed your soul before you let the world feed you anything.
Ooh, come on, Lex.
Yeah, sorry, baby. I got to tell myself I look great. I feel great. It's a good day before I walk out and let any devil come touch me.
Okay, come on. Pass the plate, sis.
Those are things that I have to do. You know, I keep those things, and I put, you know, my prayers and my thoughts and my manifestations, I put them on paper and I post them somewhere I'm going to see daily. I think that's something else you've got to do somewhere in your home. There's got to be a space that's sacred for you, and that's for you to remember, you know, whatever you need in that time. So those are the, like, my top 4 things I would say I have.
I love this. Go ahead, Lex. And look, we could keep going on, but of course, I wanted to keep it like really, really short and sweet. So that's like all the questions I have for you. But now the questions are out of the way. Let me cue the music. Like I'm supposed to be. I'm trying to get better with this. Okay. Can you hear it?
Here a little bit.
I didn't want it to be too loud. Hold on. It ain't coming yet. Okay. So this is the plug by Future, just the intervention time. Look at Miss G got the plug time. So of course, this is where you like plug in like anything that you have going on, like in education, outside of education. And I know you have like your financial side. So tell everyone about that so I don't get it wrong. Okay.
So recently I I've been doing very well. Someone who's always been just financially savvy. I am 25. My car is paid off. I just purchased a home, so we're seeing me in my house. I have very little credit card debt. The only debt I have is about $200 on a card that I just use there to keep building my credit. And I realized as I was moving that there are so many people, especially if they're low income already or they come from low income, they oftentimes are Black and brown folks who just don't know what to do with their money. They've never been on a budget. They've never thought about being on a budget. They don't save monthly from their checks consistently so that they have emergency money left behind or just are saved to have their goals met. Right. And so a lot of my friends were asking for help, and I make a personal budget for myself. I've been using this budget for years. I make a spreadsheet, have formulas and things like that. And I thought, let me do this for other people. So I was doing it for some friends. And then someone was like, you should make this more open to other folks because it was helping them so much. And so recently I started a little small business where I'm just doing budgets for folks to help them to learn how to use better. And I don't want it to be something you need for the rest of your life. I want it to be something that it's a habit that you've learned, that once you learn my formula of how to do this, you're able to walk away with it and use it for the rest of your life for yourself, and which a lot of my clients are able to do now. So many of them, their credit scores are going up, their savings account are going up. By the end of this month, my friend has saved up enough money. Her goal when she came to me to get her budget done was to have a house. And she saved up enough money to have her consultation by the end of this month so that she can start looking for a home. So it's been going really well. So I'm just encouraging people to reach out. And I don't charge much because, again, like I said, I think it is absurd that if you're struggling to learn how to handle your money, you can go to someone, but they want to charge you ridiculous amounts of money in order to learn how to handle your money. And it's like, these people don't have
money. It's counterproductive.
Yes, it doesn't work.
I already don't have no money, but you want me to pay you how much?
Yeah. So, because it's not about money for me, it's really about helping my community and giving back to my community so that they're more capable of having their dreams. I make it affordable, and I ask people to just do 3 months with me because it's a 3-month program. Once you're done with 3 months with me, you'll know how to save your own money and do what you need to do for yourself. And if, a lot of my clients nowadays, they want to stick around. They're like, can we just check in once a month just to make sure I'm doing good? And so, at this point, we just have client check-ins once a month that they pay for so that they can make sure that their budget's on track and that they haven't messed up. Or sometimes I change their budget for them because they're making more money because they realized, hey, I need to make more money to meet the goals I wanted to meet. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm doing. I encourage people to come to my page. Please message me when you come to my page. Like, hey, yeah.
Her first, because she's not just going to send a request. Sorry.
Yeah, please message me and say I'm inquiring about having some budget consultations because I can't just add anybody. There's some weirdos out there, and I am a teacher by trade, and I love my job, and I would hate for it to be gone.
Yes. So if you want to learn more about budgeting and finance, please follow Lex. Well, no, message her at That's Lex. And I have her Instagram on the main page too, where this post is. And then this video is going to repost on this page, so you'll also see that in the caption. And then I'll put down some of the things that she suggested also in the caption and try to make sure I included everything. But yes, so at That's Lex's and message her first. Yeah.
And you did say something about education, and I would like to put this plug in too while we have just a little bit more of a moment.
Yes.
I would also encourage you guys, if you guys are in states where your teachers are being required to go to work, please, whatever you do, try your best to protest for them. Try your best to put something out there for them, because right now we are being required, some people in some states are being required to go into their building and risk their lives for absolutely no reason. And it's absurd. And then they're doing it here in Georgia, and they're literally putting signs on our doors that say you are coming in here voluntarily, and basically letting us know, they're trying to get us to sign contracts to let us know, like, if we die from COVID because we contracted it here at work, that they are not responsible or reliable for it. And it's just a really touchy and scary for teachers. And they're trying to transition to students in by September 8th. And that just is beyond me at the moment. And teachers are suffering. We don't make enough for what they're requiring. They're not paying hazard pay. I don't make nothing near as much as a nurse, but I'm going to be in an essential environment in that way. And that's crazy.
Right. It's like when all this came out, it's like, I never thought I was so essential. And then a part of that too, everyone was like blaming teachers and just like, are we essential or are we not essential? Like, please make up your mind.
Oh, we are essential, honey, but we need to essentially be in that building and die. That's not it.
And then they just don't blame us, and just like it's really above us, and it's just sometimes very unfortunate.
So vote for us to have raises, because I am not making enough, okay? Not for the amount of work that I do. And I love what I do. And this is why so many great teachers are leaving, because we're just not being treated well.
Yeah, it's very, and that's why care is very important. So that you don't lose your mind in the process.
Yes.
Okay. That is all we have. Does anyone have any questions for Lex? We'll stay on just for a little bit. We would like to keep these conversations really short and sweet. So every Sunday, 5 p.m. on this page, myself and another educator are just having candid conversations about self-care and how it's very important for us as educators to take care of ourselves.
I agree with Sarah that there are people who are not in the classroom making decisions.
Yes, like you have never.
Absolutely irking. I agree with you.
You could never. Like.
You couldn't hold down what I'm holding down, honey, but you want to tell me what I'm doing. I just don't. And we didn't talk about therapy, but I'm a huge proponent of therapy.
I
did have therapy when I was in Denver, and I just haven't transitioned out here to Atlanta, but that's in there too. Teachers.
Yeah, I need to find one here in Baltimore. Well, actually, I did try to find one here in Baltimore, but living in Colorado kind of clouded my judgment because I mean, the other people are on time, and like I emailed this one lady here, and it took her 2 weeks to email me back, and I'm like, sis, I don't even want to talk to you right now. Like I understand, probably standard 24, 72 hours. It's been 2 whole weeks.
Yes.
I went to therapy, like sis, a lot could have happened in 2 weeks, and you just responded to sign me up for an appointment. Like that's unacceptable. Unacceptable. At least got your assistant to email me back, like.
My insurance is trying to charge me $80 a session. Before in Colorado, my insurance is charging me $20 so I could afford to go to therapy. Now I'm like, I can't afford it until I change my insurance, which is absurd that teachers can't go get therapy. Like,
yeah, that's how I was here too. She's like, oh, you have to wait till your insurance goes through. And of course, like I don't even get my first check until like the end of this month. So of course, like technically my insurance not even started yet. And I'm just like, well, how much are your sessions? She's like, oh, they're $200. And I was like, okay, sis, I'll talk to you next year.
Like, what? I don't have that kind of money. It's
talk to you.
Yeah, no, therapy should be more accessible, more affordable, certainly. I think therapists should be paid their worth because I think they are worthy of their job.
Yeah, I really do.
I'm full proponent of it, but there should be better access, certainly.
Yeah, for teachers. Well, guys, that is all for today. Again, I'm going to repost this video on the page. It's going to have all Alexis's information. And if you want to learn any more about financial education, please send her a message before you send her a request, because she's going to be sad if she don't accept you. But thank you guys for tuning in. Remember, like, self-care isn't selfish. It's very imperative to take care of yourself. Like, an empty lantern doesn't provide any light. Tend to yourself and provide and service others with the overflow. And that's all I have to say for you guys. Have a great rest of the day. Do something for yourselves today. Thank you for coming on.
I loved it. Have a good one.
Bye, guys.